He's a Renaissance man. You know, he can do many, many things. He's a wonderful artist with a lot of different mediums. You know, he's a potter. He can paint, draw, and then, of course, his music and his acting.
He's not a studied actor. He hasn't had a lot of acting lessons, but his life was his acting lesson.
My MO is funny as far as picking projects. I really do my damnedest to swerve. I really try hard to swerve. Because I know what hard work, what hard work making a movie is. For one thing, it takes me away from my sweetheart and my family, my wife and my kids. I know, you go away and it's like you become a different person. And I do have a bit of the dude in me, I consider myself kind of lazy. Although when I look back in the rearview mirror, I see I've done a bunch of stuff. So I don't know how that all works out.
He's always struck me as this golden boy. I mean, this is what the gods give us. This is why they're chosen. The gods marked them for us to all look up on that big screen and say, ah, if only. And yet he's always fought that.
Jeff is very reluctant to take on any part. Bringing him to the dance is not easy.
Can't live as a coward. This resistance and reticence, to, well, yeah, okay. It's a funny kind of thing. It's a funny deal. I sometimes think that the movies are sort of the snake skin, that the real experience for me personally is the snake, and that drops the skin, it's beautiful. Oh, let's make a belt out of this. What a beautiful hatband or whatever, But the snake, the experience, that's the thing, working with all these artists, It's a communal art form, You get to be creative with people. And the movie is just sort of a little souvenir from that time, really.
Jeff was 19 when he came in to see us, and I think he got the part before he said hello, but he was just so right for the part in many different ways.
Hey, Dwayne, boy, I froze my ass last night.
I think I walked in and Peter saw the guy. He said, oh, there's Dwayne,
What was most interesting was that it was really casting against type, because Jeff is one of the nicest people you'll ever meet. He's just really a mensch. And the character of Dwayne in the Last Picture Show, almost nothing he does is sweet or nice or really likable.
What do you mean, ask my girl for a date? You turn me loose. I'll turn you loose anytime you're ready to fight. Come on, let's have it out. Come on, Marlo.
You're knock off that boys. This is the Christmas season.
That movie, The Last Picture Show, just stands by itself. There's nothing really like it. I remember when we did it, we said, gosh, something special's happening here, isn't it? We say, yeah. I said, I don't know. I haven't done that much stuff, but something magic is happening. We just had that kind of feeling.
Hi, Dwayne.
What Lester?
Oh, Lester, he's such a boy.
Sybil and Jeff had a very intense relationship for a while.
Jeff, yes. Jeff and I think that's probably the one time I ever broke the rule and messed around with someone I'm on camera with. Oh, my God, we had a great time, 1970, you can only imagine.
God, he was good. He just has an ability to immerse himself into the role to such a degree, and you don't catch him acting,
Come in.
We rehearsed all of the love scenes. It was a very heady, hot atmosphere because there was always Peter there, and he was so sexy and attractive, and Timothy Bottoms, of course, sexy, wonderful, attractive, and then, of course, Jeff, sexy, wonderful, and attractive. It was as if it was really happening, those love scenes. But we had love scenes that were very funny, and there was nudity involved, which is a rare combination.
Oh, Dwayne, hurry.
And in that scene, he's doing these very subtle things that are hysterical, but the thing is, it's so real. It's not played broad, it's playing very simply. It was very difficult for me not to laugh.
What's wrong, honey?
I don't know.
That tickles. You know I can't stand to be tickled.
A lot of actors think that they're in a baseball game and they're supposed to hit a home run every time. But acting isn't hitting home runs out of the park. Acting is a tennis game. If you hit that ball out of the court, you have no game.
You just pretend it was wonderful.
Well, I'm sorry. I don't know what happened.
Oh! If you say that one more time, I'll bite you.
The culminating moment in the movie when he admits to Sonny that he's still not over JC. I ain't over her yet.
You ever hear from JC?
No, not a thing. She don't get home much. Ain't been back town since August. I guess she just stays in Dallas all the time.
Yeah, probably does. I guess there's lots to do down in Dallas. I ain't over yet, you know. I ain't over yet. It's damn the same.
Your heart goes out to him because you realize he's a kid and he makes mistakes, but he's a decent person. But that all comes from Jeff. It's not in the writing.
Better get on before we both freeze.
It's a show business family, and Lloyd was the patriarch, and Bo was the older brother, and both of them are terrific, solid actors.
My mother and father met at UCLA in the theater department, and my mom was probably the best actor of the whole bunch.
Yeah, well, we grew up in Mar Vista, LA, which at that time was a brand new neighborhood with vast fields of celery. Our street was kind of the last one, and then we used to have celery bomb fights in the fields.
My mom did something with all of her kids she called time, and what time was, it was if you were her child, she would give you an hour every day and do whatever you wanted to do. And as far as I was concerned, it was, oh, come on, Mom, let me go into your makeup and let's make each other up as clowns, you know, or, you're a space monster and I'm the, the astronaut and I'm under the table here. Space things, cowboy things. Whenever my dad would come home from making a Western was a big one, and whenever he came home in this Western costume, he let me put it on.
Jeff, 8 years younger than me. So I schooled him pretty hard in a lot of things. I tortured him a lot when he was a kid. I had him going so bad, all I had to do was just point my finger at him and wiggle it like this and look at him, and it would just send him bonkers. He would start to cry. And then I could do it with the rest of the family sitting at the table. I would do it under the table. So he just knew this look I'd have. I'd look at him, and he knew that the finger was going.
It was a relief from being tortured by Bo and tormented by Bo for so many years. And now he could kind of release his thing with me. And it was, ridiculous little things like calling me and when his friends were over, come here, I want to show you this great wild thing. It's really magical. It's really a trip. And of course, I'm all excited just to even be invited into the room, right? Then he'd either hold my arms up and slowly spit on me or something like that. Oh, and this is the famous Emmett Kelly. This was in Hawaii. This is an interesting period. We called it Jeff's Wayne Newton period. He got a little chunky. He had his little chubby cheeks.
My mother wrote every day, and then when we were each 21, she gave each one of us our life story from her perspective, taken out of her journal. Acting debut of Jeff Bridges in a speaking part was April 14th of this year. He played a boy who had lost his bike when it went into the pier, and Mike Nelson rescued it. My father was so enthusiastic about all his kids going into showbiz. He just loved it, all the different aspects of it. I can remember him saying, hey, you know, there's a little part for a kid in Sea Hunt, you know, you want to do it? I said, oh. He said, come on, you get out of school, you know, you make some money, you can buy some toys, it'll be fun, come on. You can learn how to skin dive, you know. I was about maybe 8 years old, and he just, you know, taught me all of the basics about, you know, making it feel like it's happening for the first time. You know, now don't wait for my lips to stop talking and then you say your lines. You got to listen to what I'm saying and let that make a difference in what you're going to say.
Tell me, what's the problem?
I lost my bike. Just got it the day for my birthday, and I hardly had a chance to ride it.
Our boy proved he was a true Bridges trooper. Did everything perfectly and enjoyed it too. Not really. You know, this is a good one. I'm glad you brought this up, Mom. This was my first memory as an actor. It was from this thing she's talking about. And what I remember is not having a good time at all. I remember being thrown off the Malibu pier and having to deliver my lines freezing like this. That's my first memory. Anyway, she says I had a good time.
Hi, you baby boy.
I saw a lot of water.
Yeah, I know, sweetheart. Now listen, you remember what to do?
Yes.
All right, what?
Hold my nose, close my eyes, and hold on to you.
That's right here.
I really didn't know if I wanted to make acting my profession because, well, like most kids, you don't want to do what your parents want you to do. And I didn't know if I wanted to, you know, go into my father's business, especially because this whole nepotism thing, you know, to get, you know, I got the job just because who my dad was. And I was already in grammar school. You already got that thing, you know, kids can be quite cruel and, you know, oh, you think you're so great because your dad is Mike Nelson and, you know, so forth. I said, I don't know if I really want to do that thing. And I like music, and I like to paint. Maybe I'll go into those things.
These days the world don't seem to amount to much. But there's a lot more here than what we see and touch.
Man, the music thing was, you know, kind of wonderful.
It's just the realm of the senses, is all we know. Everything I've learned came home.
When he was about 14, I had an old Dan Electro guitar, which now would be worth thousands and thousands of dollars. My brother gave it away to one of his friends, unfortunately. Thanks, Jeff. Anyway, he had that thing, and I was off, you know, playing sports in school or something, and he picked this guitar, and got quite good on the guitar early.
Lost in space, I'm invisible.
And I was doing a bunch of movies with Quincy Jones. Quincy, who was scoring at that time. So I said, Quincy, Jeff's been writing some stuff. You want to just hear him just for fun?
Bo, as always, was my agent. You know, he was trying to further his young brother's career. So Quincy was doing a movie with Dustin Hoffman and Mia Farrow called John and Mary. And I went in there and played him some tunes, and he liked it and recorded it and used it in the movie. You know, I seriously thought that maybe that's where I was, you know, going to get into the music.
Merry men go wrong. It's as bad or good as it can get, but you ain't seen nothing.
I really resisted making movies and following that path. But then it became the kind of the path of least resistance because I started to, you know, get work.
Years ago, I went in for a boxing movie that John Huston was doing. And John really liked me, but he said, geez, you know, you're just a little bit too old. You know, you got everything that this character needs, but just a little bit too old. And I said, well, I think I got a guy in mind for you, you know. So Jeff came in, got the part.
I think the first great performance I saw of Jeff Bridges was in Fat City.
What do you think?
Yeah, it's just the right image for you. When you come out from that, you're gonna look like a champ.
Champion of the world.
John Huston, who is a master, took that book by Leonard Gardner, which is to me, the best boxing book of its generation. And Jeff Bridges plays this kid, from Stockton, who is the golden boy, he thinks, and he goes into this thing, and Stacy Keach is the has-been.
Fat City was, at the time, it was a revolutionary film in this respect. It was not a Cinderella story. It was about boxers who started at point A and ended up at point A. They didn't go anywhere.
I was, quite young, and of course, I was enamored of the master, John Huston, my God, and I was anxious to do whatever he had to say. I was a little upset because John showed so much affection towards Stacy. They would play backgammon, and they really created a wonderful atmosphere for Stacy.
We used to play backgammon on the set. And Ray Stark, who was producing the film, used to come up to us and said, "John, you've got to give me the backgammon board because we're behind schedule, And John would say, no, I'm not going to give you the board. Ray, this is how I relax between shots."
And for my character, or for me, not my character, but just for me, he would tease me. He would say, "Oh, yes, we've scheduled a fight for you. You're going up against the champion of stock." He would tease me, keep me off balance.
Let's get him to his corner. Come on, Ernie. Come on, baby. Come on. Here I go.
But that made me think that was some direction he was doing. It wasn't that he didn't, like me as a person.
What's your name? What's your name? Where are you?
I get knocked out?
What's your name? Tell me your name. Can you do that?
Ernie Munger. What round is it?
How many figures do you see? Can you see my hand? How many fingers?
5.
He's okay.
Normally, after a movie, I have this feeling where I don't want to pretend anymore. I just want to be me and do my own stuff. I had finished a movie called The Last American Hero with Lamont Johnson. I had a great time with Lamont. He's got a very deep voice. And I get a call from my agent, and he says, "I've got great news. You have been offered a part in John Frankenheimer's The Iceman Cometh." This wonderful Eugene O'Neill play. And it's going to be with Robert Ryan and Frederick March and Lee Marvin, incredible actors. And I just said, "Oh, no, I'm bushed. Thanks. I'll take a passer on that one." And he says, "Come on, you're kidding me." I said, "No, I'm going to pass." So I hang up on him. And about 5 minutes later, Lamont calls me up. And he said, "I understand you turned down a part of in The Iceman Cometh." And I said, "Yeah, I'm bushed." And he says, "You're bushed?" He says, you're a stupid ass." And he hung up on me. So I decided to do a little experiment on myself. And I said, well, I understand that professionals have to work when they don't feel like it. I certainly don't feel like it right now, and I'm kind of wondering if I'm going to pursue acting for my life's career here.
Hello, Larry.
So maybe I'm going to do this thing when I don't feel like it, and this is going to put the nail in the coffin. Or not.
I couldn't make it. But I might see if you were around.
Sit down and join the bums, then.
The rehearsal was 8-10 weeks sitting around a table with these old pros, these guys, not my father. I mean, I admired my father and I could appreciate his acting, but these were guys who, his work I had seen. Most of my scenes were with Robert Ryan.
Oh, from Mother.
Stinking, rotten liar.
We were sitting, waiting for the scene to start. He was sitting there with his hands on the table. And the assistant director says, "All right, we're ready to roll now, get ready." And Bob took his hands away. And I noticed that when Bob moved his hands off the table, there were 2 huge puddles of water, sweat. And I said, "Bob, after all these years, you're still nervous? You still have the fear,
No, Larry, please don't leave me.
And he said, he says, I'd really be afraid if I wasn't afraid. You know? And what a relief to find that out, that being frightened was not something to be frightened about, that it was kind of, your buddy, it's kind of that unexpected thing, that can help you, I had such a wonderful experience, something that I wasn't counting on. I didn't think the experiment would turn out that way.
I thought about it all the time. And I hated myself more and more, thinking...
But I was so thrilled about seeing what these old guys and how kind of like childlike and wise and everything, they were all the same. I said, I want to be one of those guys.
You know something? I don't think of us as criminals, I feel we accomplished something, a good job.
I did Cimino's first film, Thunderbolt and Lightfoot, with Clint Eastwood, and in that, Cimino's kind of famous in Heaven's Gate for doing, 60 takes and everything. And the first movie, Thunderbolt and Lightfoot, Clint would only let him do 2 or 3. I was the kid, I was the guy who said, please, I'd go up to Mike and say, Mike, I got an idea. Can I just have one more? He said, well, we'll have to ask the boss, He would go over and Clint would say, give the kid another shot.
You all right, kid? You don't look too well.
I believe you're right.
Lightfoot.
He chooses his projects very carefully, and I think with an eye toward not repeating himself in terms of the kind of roles he plays. He likes to challenge himself.
Then there was a movie called Cutter's Way by Ivan Passer. Let's call it a film noir, but a modern film noir. And all the performances extremely dark. And that's what impressed me. The thing that was interesting when I saw Cutter's Way was that I saw a dark quotient to Jeff Bridges. I saw an intelligence. I saw a cutting edge. I didn't see that young, happy surfer kid,
Sit down. Look. I didn't see the face, right? I only saw the body. What I saw the body was a dark shape with sunglasses on it. I can't identify a face for you.
I could see he had a cynical side. He had done King Kong. He'd done this big thing, which had not been a big success. And Hollywood is so fickle. When you're the young golden boy, boom. But when, in fact, you don't go over the top in a big blockbuster, the town can turn as cold as ice to you. And I was going to the studio, and people were saying, Jeff Bridges, no, forget it, ain't going to happen for him. I pursued him for Against All Odds because the idea was to go after somebody who had been the golden boy, but still now had some experience, had had some mileage on, had been hurt.
I have a broken shoulder. Both my knees are shot. There are guys crippling themselves right now, so you can act like a 13-year-old runaway from some mansion in Bel Air. I could really give a what you believe.
Jeff came in about 30 pounds overweight. And I basically said to him, if I fight for you in this role, will you in fact go on a program and really get yourself in shape? Because you are playing a wide receiver who has to be incredibly fast and tough.
You don't have to do this, Brogan. Not beating me.
Hand down again. Look at me. Hey!
Well, once I engage, I'm up for it. I'm in 1,000%.
Trying to prove you're a veteran, damn it. But a dumb you let me do.
But it's getting there, getting to that spot. Getting to the makeout couch, Makeout cave in this sense. It was a Mayan ruin, or I'm not sure what the hell it was.
Against All Odds brought him back. It brought him back into the limelight. It wasn't a huge blockbuster, but he looked great. He was fantastic. He got great reviews. Now, the next film, Starman, he gets nominated. And all of a sudden, everybody goes, and it's never stopped since then.
Starman really stands out for me. I was very impressionable. I think I was about 8 or 9 years old when that movie came out. And now watching what he was able to do and get away with. The fact that Jeff committed so much to being a fool and he was not afraid.
That is something that actors, movie actors, are constantly dealing with, you know, and what do you do? How can you protect yourself? Do you have to hold back? And, you know, the answer is no, you can't. You've got to be willing to be the fool.
A woman's husband dying, and then this being from another world comes and sort of reanimates in a way, kind of reincarnates her husband in body form, but he's really an alien. I thought, you know, this sounded very, very difficult. And I thought the role, you know, that Jeff took on was even more challenging. He actually watched babies and birds, he told me. So he watched the way a bird sort of moves its head and observes, you know, that kind of little movement. But I think he took that and he then combined it with this idea of this baby, of this wide open, because birds don't have a wide open feeling to them. So it's, you know, it's what makes it interesting is it's the combination of the bird and the baby together and then who he is, you know, all put together. It's really, you know, we're watching something we've never seen before.
That's my driver's license. It's me. My name, Jenny Hayden.
Jenny Hayden.
He said in Starman that he treated it like the creature was operating heavy machinery and he'd lost the manual. And so you're Jenny Hayden. Even that thing with the just slightly off.
He said Jenny Hayden. You know, he had this whole way of doing it that really makes it a very memorable little moment of a character's name. It really does, you know, it is a big kind of creation of that character through his mind or through his innocence. Just trying to take it all in.
Believe me, General, I know what went wrong.
Working on Starman, we were on the road and staying in a lot of off-the-beaten-track types of places. So we were always trying to find things to do, to engage us, to keep us busy. It was the first film that he started taking pictures. With his Widelux, it has such depth of field and it shoots 180 degrees. So it's ideal for shooting a large canvas, like the making of a film. We were having so much fun taking these pictures. Together, we decided to make a book, and that sort of kept us both very engaged with the crew and engaged with each other.
The first one I did was on Starman, and it was Karen Allen's idea.
The thing that I like about these is all these...
Yeah, all the little stories. Isn't it wild? It's
like,
so wild.
I didn't see this until just now, looking over here, like, here's that Video Village.
That's the whole thing of that camera. Look, you can see me in there. You see that, right?
Oh, yeah. Right. Cool.
This is his camera, the Widelux, and he's the guy that is better than anybody else with this camera. It's a very difficult camera to work with because the lens moves. It's very difficult, and he's learned all the possible ways to make frames with this moving lens.
And when you'd see it, it goes like this, and it captures the photo.
This is the only camera I use, really. Because in a way, it's like a still motion picture camera. In a way, it's capturing motion and, you know.
Yeah, little moments in time rather than just one snapshot.
Yeah. And the format, I'm kind of partial to this format, which is sort of like a 70-millimeter movie.
He took these photographs that he gives you as a gift in a book that are amazing. They're great art, and it captures the feeling with this 180, you know, and I think, in a weird way, that kind of also is how he's got this wide view and specific. Both. He's capable of doing both.
It's tragedy commedia. When he came up with that, it was just so Jeff, you know. That's the epitome of pretty much who he is. I think he writes that on there, tragedy comedy, because that's what we are. We're this and we're this.
Get to work here.
close up, so that's fine.
This process was, in a way, could take him out of the acting, the movie making process, and give him a bit of time to look and see what this is all about. And the fact that he had such great access to everyone, there are photographs that nobody else could have made.
Yeah, no, it's all part of the show.
American Heart was the first movie I produced. We wanted to make a film to address the working poor in our country. It was a very tough assignment when you go out and say, I want to make a movie about, what it's like. Well, you don't want to make it too preachy. You don't want to make it, you want it to be very real feeling. American Heart was a movie that started out as a photo essay that Mary Ellen Mark did on kids living in the street in Seattle, heroin addicts, homeless kids. And then her husband, Martin Bell, made a wonderful documentary called Streetwise.
Streetwise was done as a result of my photos of the children in Seattle, but Streetwise is an entity of its own. It became its own story and, its own reality that developed from those characters.
Damn nails, too, ain't you? Yeah.
There was a scene in there that really moved me where this young kid, he must have been 14 years old, visited his father in prison.
You're a tough guy on the street, man. Big time, tough little punk is all you are. Can't even quit biting your fingernails. You're too damn little to be tough, kid.
And you could tell the father loved his kid, but the only way he could express it was to give his, kind of be a bully to his kids and say, how many cigarettes you smoke? The kid says, well, just a pack. His father says, well, that's good. Let me see your arms. Come on. You shooting up any, drugs or anything? Don't hang out. You don't want to end up like me, this kind of thing. And I thought, God, what a relationship they must have had, and what would it have been like if that guy got out of prison?
I was looking all over for you. Bear said you're getting out today.
I think that Jeff saw the tragedy of some of these relationships in Streetwise, and he wanted to try and capture that and put it into a narrative form.
Well, you look good other than your hair. Of course, mine should talk. Huh?
That was the impetus for the story.
Tell you what, there's a cafe across the street. Why don't you go over there and...
And he wanted to try and find a way to show the sweetness of his own personality.
Go on, I'll meet you over there.
And the horror of what this father really was, because he had no chance in life himself.
So I lied. Ain't the first time.
All you've been doing to me is lying to me since the day you left me back there in the bus station.
Put your mouth in park, thief, and get in your room.
I don't have a room.
Well, then get out! You're cramping my style.
Jeff is heartbreaking in that film, and that character had to be heartbreaking. So self-destructive, but so touching at the same time.
My mother would often check on us if we were doing our homework, because that was what you did in those days with your kids a lot. And he would be doing art or playing the guitar.
Everybody's got their own interpretation about the value of what they do.
He got into the wild crowd, the wild bunch, and playing music a lot and probably smoking pot and just partying.
1969, we had a big confab with Jeff concerning his lifestyle that wasn't making him or us happy. He needed some routine set up so he wouldn't waste most of his time instead of the undisciplined, unproductive life he was now living, only dabbling at his art and music.
He separated for a while, like we all do from our parents. And he moved out at about 17, I think, as soon as he was able to be free. The quote that my mother remembers and he remembers, we all remember, is he basically told my mother and my father, I don't dig you guys anymore. I just don't dig your company. And that was his truth. He just wanted to be a rebel and go try and do all these things and be honest about it.
He indicated he was okay. He needed to be on his own so he'd have a sense of self-worth and accomplishment.
Jeff doesn't do anything half-assedly. And so when he came back with all of himself.
This is my beautiful family. This is my mother. This is my sister.
Jeff and I met at Chico Hot Springs, Montana in 1974. I was working there in between college years and having a great 1974 time, and the movies came. And there was this guy, Lloyd Bridges' son, who kind of followed me around. I was 21 years old. It was an adventure. Fortunately, his family was very kind and supportive of me.
On the home front, he's very passionate about his family. I think that's truly the center of his world, his daughters and Sue, his wife. I know that that's the most important thing to him.
I think I have provided a stability for him from which he can get as far out as he needs to be, but he knows he has a place to come home to, and I think that gives him a lot of freedom to create, especially film roles.
Fabulous Baker Boys. Well, that was a spectacular experience for me. Working with my brother was the big thing on that one, but also music. Playing that character, I got to get into jazz. It was, a great invitation to study Bill Evans' music.
One of the favorite questions that I get is there any jealousy or competition between you and your brother? And my stock answer to that is no, because I taught him everything that he knows. He's doing the Baker Boys. The studio wanted to cast somebody else. Jeff said, no, I want to do this with my brother.
How do you act that? How do you act as if you're somebody's brother? Now, with Bo, that was not even an issue. We didn't put any time at all trying to create that illusion. The first scene we shot was me in the bathroom with him as he's spraying his hair. And I talked Bo into, doing this ball thing. He said, do I have to do the ball? I said, Bo, come on, it's a great chance to do it.
My dad and my uncle, when they were young, strapping men, they used to take a flatbed truck and they would park outside of a grocery store and pick a fight. And that would kind of get people around interested in what was going on. And then I guess they would break into Shakespeare.
And we would stage a fake fight, probably another fight. Get people around saying, oh, stop that. And then we would say, no, it's just the show. And we would jump up on the back of the flatbed truck and do our scenes. And then we would wait for the cops to come, because they would inevitably, somebody would call the cops, they would come, and we would always try to include the cops as if they were in on the show. They didn't appreciate that very much, And just when they were going to, arrest us, we'd hop and say, okay, we're out of here. And we'd go to the next supermarket, play the supermarket circuit.
So, we love fighting in the movies, like in the Baker Boys, we had a fight in there.
We were both, excited about gaffing that fight ourselves, because our father taught us movie fighting and stage fighting.
Jeff and I had this idea. We wanted to fight up against a chain link fence because we figured it would sound kind of horrific, but it would have enough give so that when we crashed up against it, the fight had to end with my brother on top of me, grabbing my fingers, threatening to break them.
The most threatening thing you could do to a piano player is break his hand. And so I'm breaking his hand.
I told him, look, I know you're very passionate in what you do. You get into your creative mode. Do not hurt me, man. Do not twist my fingers up, you know. And I said, I'm going to have a word that will work within the context of the scene, and if I say it, and I think it was, ow, ow, twice in a row. If I say that, you know you're really hurting me, and back off.
We forgot to have a safe word, some kind of, word that would say, you're hurting me.
So comes the time, and he goes bananas, and he's on top of me, and he grabs my finger, and I go, ow, ow. And Jeff is, he's out there. He's not even hearing me. So I kind of say, you are breaking my effing finger, man.
You little brother, beat the Jack, my hand! My hand, Jack!
So when Bo said, you're hurting me, you're breaking my hand, I said, act your ass off, you son of a bitch. And I really damaged his hand. He had to go right to the hospital.
We were casting Fisher King, and I was on a plane flying across the States, and Baker Boys was on. And I couldn't wait to get off the plane. I said, it's him. It's got to be Jeff.
It's sunrise confession time, Ed. What have you got for us?
I have a theory that cynics are kind of crushed romantics, that they're protecting something very tender. And I think that was the case of that fella.
I met this beautiful woman.
Oh, come on now. Ed, if you start telling me you're falling in love again, I'm going to have to remind you of that time we made you propose to that checkout girl at Thrifty's that you like so much. Do you remember her reaction?
She was just a girl. This is a beautiful woman.
Yeah, and Pinocchio is a true story. Ed, you're never going to get this tart to your dessert plate.
No, this is different.
Edwin.
She likes
Edwin. Hey! Edwin!
He's fearless. He's absolutely fearless, number one. But there's a darkness there that broods, and that was the first thing when I first met him. Couldn't have been sweeter, couldn't have been nicer, couldn't have been more just genuine guy. And then he says, have you ever seen this? And he showed me a book of photographs by Joel Peter Whitkin. And you open the book and you fall into the abyss. Because it is, people missing limbs, heads that have been chopped open. The most beautiful, disturbing, horrifying, magical photographs I've ever seen. And it was terrifying. And so here's this sweet, all-American lad suddenly in the depths of the most disturbing, frightening, painful, beautiful. And I thought, wow, you impressed me.
I remember him coming over and talking to me about this role. And I said, gee, why do you want me to... I mean, I'm not from New York. I'm not like a Howard Stern kind of guy.
Meaning he spent his whole time trying to talk me out of casting him. I mean, because he didn't believe it either.
And I said, really, Terry? I said, you might want to think of these guys. I had a long list of guys, friends of mine, that might be good for the part. He goes, no, Jeff, come on,
I remember when he walked on the set the day that he was transformed into Jack Lucas at the beginning. And God, he was beautiful. He was just terrifying. It was a terrifying kind of beauty.
Forgive me!
A lot of women on the set were like, you okay? It was just like, wow.
There's a character called the Metroton, who is the voice of God in certain cosmologies. And he's this golden figure that just stands there. And it was like, Jeff, God. I said, I wish I was gay, because this guy's the guy. There was these moments that are just, and it's scary because he's doing nothing that you can see. But it's just coming out from a very deep source.
You want to hear the new title of my biography? My little Italian friend. It was no picnic. The Jack Lucas story.
It was very important that he became an anchor in that whole movie, particularly for Robin and myself. Because Robin and I float off into the stratosphere, just full of hot air, both of us are. We're gone. And Jeff is the thing that grounded it.
Like jazz, he is the bass. He holds the middle. Even as crazy as his character is, with all of us kind of, rotating around him, it's incredible because he holds it straight. Even playing, pretty much an out there drunk, he's still a voice of sanity, especially with me being the voice of insanity.
Oh, you fabulous guy! Don't hug me in public again, okay?
Men with men. Oh, Jack! I love this guy!
You hear me? I love this guy! Oh, you hear me, Jaded City? I love Jack!
He's got this combination of great discipline, but the other thing that it allows you to have great freedom.
Will you shut up?
I think you could say self-taught, but I think it's a weird combination of technique and this other kind of thing that's, welcome to New York. The song guy's going, we got that, it's a truck, Bobby. Back it up, we're shooting the Jeff Bridges thing. He'd like this, it'd be all real. The idea that I think that it isn't method, but there is such kind of discipline behind it.
You did a great thing for somebody tonight. I was very proud to be with you tonight.
You were great. Thank you.
He was extremely gentle to me and very careful that in the love scenes that I felt comfortable. I remember before the first one going for a little walk and he held my hand and he said, they're always a little difficult.
You're welcome.
But this is going to be fine. You're going to be fine. And he was protective.
Steamed dumplings. Mushu pork!
There's a quality about him of a kind of, melancholy or tristesse is too strong because there's a joyous, buoyant laughter inside that man. But there is also this little motif that he is very reflective. He's a seeker. He was a seeker after something, and that something was not material. That something was spiritual.
You know, from my standpoint as a Zen teacher, one of our methods of training in Zen, it's called Zen koans, we present the student a situation. And the answer to that situation is to become the situation. It's not to comment on it, not to say what you think about it, but to really become it. And that's his life. It's Jeff. So for me, he's what I call a true Zen man.
Look at that reflection of that.
Jeff has always liked to experiment with different philosophies. I call them philosophies because often he's on some tangent or another. You know, he's following Buddhism now, but before that, he's always been on the path. I've always believed in a destination, and he's always been on the path. We have a labyrinth at our house. We go out occasionally and walk the labyrinth, and it gives us time to contemplate.
He taught me the difference between a labyrinth and a maze. Now, a maze, you get lost. You know, you have to make a correct choice in whether you turn right or left. And I think this is it gets to the point of who he is, because he does not like to make decisions.
It's kind of a family joke that he is so indecisive, but I think that perhaps sometimes that is his decision, is to be indecisive.
You know, he's interesting because on the surface he seems very laid back and very easygoing. Sometimes some of us call him the sloth, because he likes to just hang.
Sometimes there's a man. Well, he's the man for his time and place. He fits right in there. And that's the dude in Los Angeles. And even if he's a lazy man, and the dude was most certainly that, quite possibly the laziest in Los Angeles County, which would place him high in the running for laziest worldwide. But sometimes there's a man. Sometimes there's a man.
God, the Big Lebowski, I remember when the Coen brothers, I think maybe I bumped into him somewhere or something, and I was a big fan, you know, Blood Simple and all their early stuff. They said, we're writing something for you. I said, you're kidding me, you're great. I can't wait to, read it. And he said, yeah, I think you're going to like it. And then I read it, and I said, what is this, man? This is like nothing that I've ever done before. This is like, did you crash at one of my high school parties?
No! Oh, you son of a bitch, no argument. Hey, careful, man. There's a beverage here, huh?
He thought that they were like, had cameras set up in his house, or that they were interviewing his family and friends to find out things about him.
Oh, man, come on. Who are you going to believe? Those guys are... We dropped off the damn money.
We?
The royal we. You know, the editorial, I dropped off the money exactly as per... Look.
What in God's holy name are you blathering about?
The brothers would tell you, too, that I was even resistant to that one. I can't believe it, but I had that resistance, you know, drag me to the party kind of thing. But I'm sure glad I went to that party, man. That was a fun thing. And then what's happened to it, you know, over the years now with these Lebowski fests, it just totally works. It's amazing.
Cool shop, man.
Thank you. Thank you. Feel free to look around. Enjoy.
You just hang out here, or are you just visiting? What's going on?
I'm actually, I'm the robot, actually. I was a little bit concerned because I had, you know, daughters, you know, who were like, you know, just, you know, young teens, and I thought, oh, this would become a hit movie. Then they got their big, you know, pothead father, and I remember asking my daughters, you know, what do you think about me playing this character? And after a long beat, I think it was my middle daughter, Jessie, said to me, Dad, you're an actor. We know that what you do isn't real, you know.
Wait, let me explain something to you. I am not Mr. Lebowski. You're Mr. Lebowski. I'm the dude. So that's what you call me, you know? That or his dudeness or duder or, you know, El Duderino if you're not into the whole brevity thing.
Are you in...
The mishmash of styles that came together in the film, the detective stuff, stay out of Bay City, stay out of Malibu, whatever it was.
I'm sorry, I wasn't listening.
Ow! Fascist! Stay out of Malibu, Lebowski! Ow! Stay out of Malibu, deadbeat!
He's one of the authors of the Port Huron statement.
I was one of the authors of the Port Huron statement, the original Port Huron statement.
Oh. And his avid bowling skills. It's all of our hopes in the 60s. They wind up on the floor of a place in Venice, listening to the bowling finals. And whale music in the bathroom.
The dude is not in.
Oh, man. And the introduction of the marmot into the bathtub. And hey, man, nice marmot.
Hey, this is a private residence, man. Oh, nice marmot.
He's created a character for all time.
You human paraquat! You figured, oh, here's a loser, you know, a deadbeat, somebody the square community won't give a shit about.
Well, aren't you?
Well, yeah.
We did some improvisation to find the reality of the moments, but we would always, or at least I say this about myself, always return back to the script, because every ellipses, every man, it was right in the right spot, and you wanted to, you know, it was like, reading music almost, you know. You can do it many different ways, but this is the way that's, you know, right in the spot.
And also, let's not forget, dude, that keeping wildlife, an amphibious rodent for, domestic, within the city, that ain't legal either.
What are you, a park ranger now?
No, I'm just trying to...
About the marmot. Have you guys seen the
One of the reasons, if they ever legalize marijuana in California, there's going to be a moment where they're just going to have to do a shout-out to the dude. It'll be that way, to the, you know, because there's such a very large following of, you know, the idea that, you know, the dude will be there as, you know, deified, or, you know, I don't know, you could make him a saint, but while you're still alive, the dude abides.
The dude abides, yes, he does. The dude abides with a capital A. He doesn't just abide. You know, he abides. You know, and then that kind of resonates and echoes on and on. We're sitting there at the screening, and my grandmother's there, and my Aunt Cindy and my dad, and they, you know, we're all laughing hilariously, you know, from the moment you see his jellies, which were his shoes.
Downtown somewhere, I just dropped in.
And we're all thrilled at the end, and stood up, and my grandma was sitting there like, I don't know. And she hated it. She did not like to see her son, you know, with this long hair and slouching, and for her...
How's your average?
It's all about the contender. She wants to see her son be the president of the United States of America.
No. See, that's what I get for my leftist tendencies.
Sir, Senator Hansen and her husband are here. Shall I put them in reception?
Bring them in.
Yes, sir.
Considering the range that he's accomplished in his career, from playing the guy in The Big Lebowski to playing the president, what's interesting is he has a kind of persona as an actor that he constantly reinvigorates and challenges, but I mean, he never goes so far away from himself that he seems to be acting. That's part of the trick.
Shelley, you really made a mess of things for me. You sure did clobber me.
Isn't it possible, sir, that I was acting in the best interests of the United States?
No, it's not possible, and that's what pisses me off. It's all about retribution for Hartford. Thank you, Trevor. That'll be all.
So he's like a great method actor. He finds the character in himself.
Okay, Shelley. I'll give you Governor Jack Hathaway, but I want to make damn sure you're going to give him a smooth ride.
You have my word. There's a reason they call me on his show.
Irony, Shelley. I want an insurance policy.
To play the president is a very difficult thing. To project the kind of authority, realness, the leadership qualities, it's very, very difficult.
I want to see the faces of those of you who would eliminate the possibility of greatness in American leadership because of half-truths, lies, and innuendos. I will not be deterred by partisanship.
I don't know if he thought some about Bill Clinton, and there's this LBJ quality almost to it, other past presidents, but there was an ease, an authority, a humor.
What about this Webster, sir?
1 second. Anybody here hungry?
Oh, no, thanks.
No, sir, I'm not, thanks.
Otto. Yes, Mr. President? Could you whip up some Kung Pao chicken, but with walnuts?
I don't think there's another male actor quite like Jeff in that way. He changes himself so much from role to role. There is something that Jeff projects that is very American.
But heck, everybody loses a couple. And you either pack up and you go home or you keep fighting. Isn't that right?
Acting and making movies, it's like being a kid. You know, you're pretending. You know, but you're pretending with all the cool kids. You get the cool, you know, stuff, the gear.
Trying to rid the world of weapons. You gave it its best one ever. Pepper! And now, I'm gonna kill you with it.
Great movie actors are a particular breed. The camera is a magnifying glass, and the camera bores in like a magnifying glass, and it detects.
You're divorced, aren't you?
Yeah.
Were you faithful to him? Really?
Really? Was she faithful to you?
Yeah, as far as I know.
What does that mean?
It means as far as I know. I didn't kill her.
I know you didn't.
No, you don't.
Dad, I'm not your father, Sam.
Watching Jeff behave on and off set is really a master class in just how to be a good artist. His perspective on his art is very unique in that he enjoys it immensely, takes it very seriously, but he doesn't let it oppress him.
To me, the fabulous thing about Jeff Bridges is that we grew up thinking the actor's studio. We got the actor's studio. You got De Niro, Pacino, Dustin, Brando. You have all the method people in New York, and they really have the tap on great acting. Here's this guy in California who's a surfer dude. He's absolutely as good as any one of them.
Hey, what's going on? I think we hit that Mississippi. We did. I think we hit that sucker.
Jeff gets very into the role, and I noticed that in the 19 years that had passed, he got even more into the role than he had on Picture Show. I made a joke one time. I came up to him and I said loudly, "I want to talk to Jeff." And he went, "He hears you."
Can we depart this afternoon?
We? You are not going. That is no part of it.
You have misjudged me if you think I'm silly enough to give you $50 and watch you simply ride off.
I'm a bonded U.S. Marshal.
That weighs but little with me. I will see the thing done.
Can't go after Ned Pepper and a band of hard men look after a baby at the same time.
I am not a baby.
Won't be stopping at boarding houses where there's warm beds and hot grub on the table.
Rooster Cogburn is probably the dude's great-great-great-grandfather.
Papa took me and little Frank coon hunting last summer on the Petty Jean. We were in the woods all night. We sat around a big fire and yarn all told ghost stories. We had a good time.
Coon hunting? This ain't no coon hunt.
One smokes a doobie and the other one rolls his own cigarette. But we're probably looking at the dude's ancestry.
Damn it, I do not accept it as a given that I did shoot LeBee.
It was fascinating to watch him and get into his character. It is truly the genealogy of the Bridges evolution in characters.
I can hit a gnat's eye at 90 yards. That Chinaman is running them cheap shells on me again.
I remember on the movie set once of my dad's, and he was playing a Western, and I remember this came up to me when I was doing True Grit, and seeing my father with two other actors on ladders, both, with reins coming up out of there like this. And I could not stop laughing. They had to get the kid off the set because I could not stop. You know, see my dad and my dad's, you know, giving a little movement and pretend he's on a horse, you know. Just like I was playing when I was a kid, you know.
My father, while he did, you know, an incredible amount of film and TV, he felt he never cracked the nut. He never got there.
Preston Tucker.
Mr. Tucker. A.H. Carrots. K-A-R-A-T-Z, huh? Sit down, gentlemen, sit down.
Let's get right to the point. You're one of the most powerful men in Washington. I know that.
Oh.
I also know.
Jeff is so talented that I don't think he really let himself go in all the directions that he could go until after his dad died.
big three should be indicted for manslaughter, huh? Funny line.
There are two kinds of sons. A good son who loves the father, and the other son who loves the father but wants to kill him.
What was that all about?
Jeff is the kind of son that would never kill his father. And he already became a bigger star during Lloyd Bridges' lifetime than Lloyd Bridges had ever been. We never talked about it. This is just my putting it together. I think it was unconscious on his part, but I think he just didn't want to supersede his father to such a degree. But he went way beyond what Lloyd Bridges did in his life. And I think it troubles Jeff in a funny way.
It was a story about, a traveling musician. And then our friend, the traveling musician, Stephen Bruton, who came in and really was the foreman and the guiding hand in all of the music. And, then he died. And, it was in the warp and woof of the thing, this loss.
I don't know, like a long gone train ain't coming back. Where did it go?
So you're still hanging on that G extra long?
Yeah, no, all it is an accent.
And, he was such an incredible soul and loved music and was such a scholar of music, God.
I don't know, baby, what you plan our future than we planned long ago. Baby, I don't know.
Bowling alley.
With Jeff's character, he was pretty much isolated and on his own as a solo act, trying to survive, in spite of and with his demons. Sometimes it's worked at to be rough. They don't try to get out of it. Sometimes they work at it to be different and steeped in that.
I wrote the piece for Jeff. I firmly believe I have America's two finest actors in my picture, and they both, Mr. Duvall and Jeff, aren't safe actors. They put themselves out in every performance.
All of a sudden you see him as Bad Blake, and you see it as the quintessential alcoholic. And having been an alcoholic and still one, I go, he really captured that idea of that kind of, like this painful scene of him with the kid, going, we're just going to go in here just for a minute and get a little something. And then the panic when he loses the kid. Play that very realistically. And people just went, well, that's just him. And going, no, he's really acting, but doing it so flawlessly, you don't see any of the wires.
And the Oscar goes to Jeff Bridges in Crazy.
This is the first Academy Award and 5th nomination for Jeff Bridges. He comes from a show business family, including his father, Lloyd, mother, Dorothy, and brother, Bo. Jeff received his first nomination in 1971 for a supporting role in The Last Picture Show.
Mom and Dad, yeah, look. Woo! Thank you, Mom and Dad, for turning me on to such a groovy profession. I feel an extension of them. This is honoring them as much as it is me.
I remember early in my career feeling very insecure about not feeling like the guy, not saying, well, why did I get this part? I don't know why you hired me. I don't know what you're seeing in me, If you have that empty space, then you can fill that with whatever concept you want. It's fun to have concepts of yourself and mess around with that. But as my mom said, remember, have fun and don't take it too seriously. Crazy Heart really got all my music juices going. And I asked my publicist, Gene Sievers, who is Brian Wilson's manager, I said, are there any gigs out there, I'm kind of up for it. I'd like to get a little band together. And I had her go out fishing for some gigs.
Jeff called and said, I've got an opportunity to do a couple shows. So I said, well, I'll get the best guys in town.
We call ourselves the Abiders, a little homage to Lebowski. And off we went to Niagara Falls.
It is time.
Let's do this now.
That's right.
I used to be a preacher with women, fame, and wealth. I used to be a preacher with women, fame, and wealth. From a mighty congregation to talking to myself. Why?
There were 1,500 people there. There'll be 1,500 people tomorrow. And there's a lot of smiles.
All right. Thank you, man.
Yeah, it was great. It was really, really, really good.
How soon can we come back? I mean, I dig the falls, man. I used to be somebody, and now I am somebody else. I used to be somebody, and now I am somebody else.
I would like to think of myself as a person who is more proactive, in creating things that they want to create. But the wonderful thing about acting as a profession is that you use all of your life. You use different elements. So it turned out that that's what happened.
I always think of us, Jeff and I, as the younger us in many ways. And I think of him as an actor who changes his look and changes his character and travels the real world incognito.
He's worked hard not to be the movie star they would have liked him to be. He's his own movie star, and maybe that's the whole key to it. It must have frustrated so many people he would choose to go off to wherever he went off to do this film or that film. He's supposed to be on this other path, and it's his own path, and that's why he's Jeff and nobody else.
So crazy. It is all the math, all the... It's really insane. And you have these perceptions, how you have perceptions on how you're perceived, and they're all really perceptions. They're all kind of meaningless, You don't, when I really think about it, I don't really know who I am either. Maybe that's the problem, that I'm trying to, give people what they think I am and what I think I am. But really, I don't know what I am. I don't know who I am. That's the most comforting. That feels, as I even say that feels very comforting to me.
I'll park my old blue car. Yes, I might fall down the mountain, but I will never fall in love again. I'm driving my blue car, baby, down from the mountain so high. I'm driving my blue car, baby, down from the mountain so high.
To learn more about Jeff Bridges, visit pbs.org.
Coming down, gonna say goodbye.